lead us into our first segment for the day, which is intake mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? That can definitely sink a deal early, because if you don't have the right setup, you don't ask the right questions, you don't just get the proper information, it definitely can kill the deal. One of them being, if a business doesn't have online presence, right? And I say this because we had an example today of one of our newish reps where he was speaking to a client where the client only wanted to text. That's not a problem, but we were unable to get a hold of him. He does import export from Colombia. and it wasn't coffee. We don't know what it is, but still, it was just asking the question. Okay, so what type of products? He has no online presence. There's no website. There's no Google reviews. So even something as small as that does facilitate the approval process, and also the dollar amount that they want. Because I believe that he was shopping around. He wasn't able to get the dollar amount that he wanted. I think the dollar amount was only $25,000 based on his revenue.
20, yeah. He wanted 20. Right. He wanted 20 grand. Highest offer we were getting places was 6 grand.
Yes.
And now you guys have to think about it as well. This is an import-export guy that kind of lives on the border. He lives on the border, import-export, and he said that he has a home-based business. Yeah. Sounds like a drug dealer to me. I was laughing to our new rep, and I'm like, listen, this guy totally sells drugs out of his house. It doesn't even make sense. Just poking fun at him. And then because he had a manufacturer or import-export list as a home-based business. I'm like, dude, call this guy up, get a business location, and I guarantee you we'll be able to go ahead and get him an approval.
I think that we even asked him what is how does he get his clients?
Yeah, you have no social media, you have no online presence, and you import-export. How the hell are people going to know what you're importing or exporting if you don't even, I can't even see your products? Right. What's going on? He's like,
we drive to the clubs.
No. He's that's what we thought. He's like, we get our clients by word of mouth. I'm like, this guy's out of control.
It's some good stuff.
Yeah, this guy's out of control. But listen, the guy only needed 20K. Once we got the home address, our approvals went from 6K to 25K. We actually just got that at the end of the day today. So hopefully in the morning we'll present it to this guy. Hopefully he's not a jerk. We can present the options and get him funded.
No, that's great. Also, too, I mean, Ryan, guy, you experienced it's not just on the business lending side. Ryan, on the real estate side, you also experienced that as well, right? Because if they don't put the correct price or information, they don't put the rental income if they're looking for a DSCR. They don't put taxes, insurance. I'm assuming, right? What other stuff is it that a lot of people miss whenever they take an initial intake, right? Because sometimes asking too few questions is the wrong way to go.
It is, because then you're just holding up the entire deal process. You gotta get the information up front. You gotta ask the right questions. If you don't, then you're just submitting it, and then you're just holding up the client.
Talking to the mic.
Sorry. All right, this is much better. Perfect. Everyone can hear me.
Yeah, we go.
So you always have to make sure you're asking the right questions. Gotta have taxes, insurance. Gotta have the GPR, gross potential rent. You got to know the market value, the ARV, at the repair value. If you don't ask the right questions and you're asking too few questions, then you're just wasting your time. You're just submitting a deal that's just going to sit there and go nowhere, and you're going to have to keep revising it. And maybe the client's under contract. And now because you asked too few questions, that client just fell out of contract and lost the deal because you just didn't ask the right questions and you were too scared to. Could be a variety of factors. We got a lot of great guys here. Definitely on the panel right here, some of the best guys I've ever had the luxury of knowing. Might only be 6 weeks, but here we are, already closing deals on the Fun Rock Capital side. LendMate Capital, absolutely crushing it, and just got approval for 90% DSCR purchase.
Wow,
and
clap that up, Radical.
And rate 7.3, 7.3% rate for 90% purchase DSCR.
Nice.
And it's moving forward to the next stage. And he told us, wow, 90%. Only other lenders, we're going up to 75 on the DSCR purchase. Same with the refi side. Only going up to 75%. Us, 85% on cash out. Or 90% for rate and term.
Right, and that also hurts, because you think that you can get away with not asking the questions, right? Let's say and I see this a lot from a lot of new reps, where they're scared to ask the question. They get all the information and they get all the docs in, and then after that, once they've done all the work, they're at the finish line, then boom, there's a problem. What's the problem? My credit score is too low, or I did not have enough reserves. Why? because you didn't ask them how much money do they have in the bank, right? Because you're scared. You don't want to be intrusive.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case. If anything, you are not doing your right service to the client because you're not asking them the questions that you should be asking, right? We've gotten a few deals that everything is great. They love the rate. They love everything. We're ready to move forward. They get pay for the appraisal. They get everything in. Now we're up to proof of funds, right? We're ready to close. Okay, cool. You know what? One of the steps is you have to show me X amount of dollars in your bank account. I don't have it. What do you mean you don't have it? Well, you know, guys never asked me for it. I thought I could get this done quickly, you know, without having to put that money down. Or I thought you guys financed the rest. And now the client spent the money on the appraisal. Client, you know, is upset as he or she should. And also, too, if they put any down payment money down, they've lost that as well now because there's no way for them to go ahead and get the necessary money to close on the deal.
You know what I feel like, Jose? Like I feel that people are genuinely just nervous to ask for more docs. And I feel like that. And you know what that really does is, I mean, listen, sloppy docs equals sloppy trust. Because when these people come to you, this is a big lifetime decision for them. Some of them have never borrowed money before. You know what I mean? Some people have you know, never refinanced the property before. There's things that people have just never done before. Mm-hmm. And sometimes their first deals are done by us. They have no idea the docs. They don't do this every day. And also a lot of these people are busy. So if they have their accountant on the line, or if they're in their office, and they're never in their office, and they are allotting you the time, like, hey, listen, I stopped my busy ass day to get you exactly what you need, and you're like, you're like fiddling around with what docs. Try to get all the docs that you need while they're available. The last thing that they want to do is go ahead and take out their time to get you what they think you need, and then you have to come back for more docs and more docs and more docs. That really pisses people off, and that sometimes can affect the deal.
Yeah, remember that you're in the sales business, right? Which means that you are commission half the time, 100% commission. Right, so your intake is going to determine your paycheck. So unless you don't do that, and if you mess it up, essentially you're working for free. And who would want to waste their time or their efforts working for free because you didn't ask the right questions? Because the deal's going to die. You put all that work, and now the deal is dead. So just make sure you follow the intake form, ask the questions. They're there for a reason. Ask for the documentation as well. Right, which is going to go ahead and allow you to close a deal. Now, Lucas, you being on the system side, how is it that someone can actually, systems-wise, is there a way for them to be able to make sure that they don't move to a different status or a different stage without requesting all docs?
Yeah, there's certainly ways. I don't have it set up because we were the one closing the deals.
Right.
But we're certainly gonna be working on it as we create the new courses and the new certification. But as you're mentioning, we already have all the programs. We broke everything down. The intake form that we provided you guys, if you just take the intake form correctly, fully, that's gonna give you enough ammunition to know if it is a good deal or not. Because if you do it wrongly, if you're not completing the whole intake form, you might be wasting a couple of days of your time because you think you have a deal when in reality you don't have anything.
Right.
So it's not only you're messing up this deal, but you're messing up the future deals because you're not working on different deals that could have generated income because you're focusing on something that was never going to go anywhere. So make sure that you master the intake form first and pick the product that you actually want to work on and master the intake form. If you do that, it's 60-70% of the work is already done.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I thought that was somebody sitting next to us, bro. That tricked me.
You got someone excited.
Yeah, that tricked me. I was like, is that Ryan? That's a new voice that he has? We need to make that a soundbite. No, but Lucas, one question that can you please answer this damn question correctly? Because anytime we ask you a question to try to tee you up, you come with some asinine response, it throws us all off. Like, we're like, what's the color of the sky outside today, Lucas? You're like, well, I think it might have been red at some point, and like fucked the whole thing up. Listen, when it comes to marketing, your favorite subject, right? You market for full doc programs, you market for no doc programs, you also market for MCAs at certain points.
Correct.
Do you feel like offering programs with minimal documentation will lead to more submissions, or do you feel like that's not really the case?
that it is 100% the case. Getting all the documents is the hardest part. So the less documents that you require up front, the easier it is for you to get the submission in. But the conversion ratio is not going to be there, because if they took their time out of the day to provide you all the documents, they're committed to you, right? If they are just filling out a quick form, they're not really committed. So it's
No,
just
you're right.
like I can shop around with anybody because it took me 2 seconds to get it done.
So
it's-
that's that you bring up a good point, Lucas. So Daryl, you being seasoned, what do you think? I guess what do you think is a correct way, or maybe everyone out there, you tell us and let us know, what do you think would be correct, right? If we could take a poll today, either get an intake form with less documentation, however, you know that the documents aren't verified, so you giving someone an approval or spending time with them, the documentation comes in and it might be low or incorrect, or spend the time and tell the client, hey, get me all the docs before I even go ahead and present you an approval. Get me everything, right? So I guess on the business lending side is saying, hey, get me bank statements, driver's license, EIN letter, articles of incorporation, etc., to be able to submit the deal.
Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword.
Is there a list of documents that I can look over to make sure I get them all when I'm doing the deals? Because I'm new here.
Oh, is that Dennis?
Dennis, how are you?
Dennis, how are you, brother? Clap it up for Dennis.
Welcome, Dennis.
Clap it for Dennis.
This is Dennis. Is it Dennis? Yeah.
That's Dennis. Yeah.
We call you Dennis, the real Dennis.
Dennis, thank you so much for unmuting your mic and asking a question. That's fantastic. And thanks for hanging out here tonight with us. So yes, so we have if you're a part of Brokers Connection, I know that within your Mighty app, there's a list of programs. There's list of docs that you would need for certain programs. All your information, like your best buddy with regards to anything Brokers Connection, is going to be through that Mighty app.
But also too, Dennis, just because I know obviously we had a conversation, etc. I'm gonna send it all to you directly. We updated the deck, right, with guidelines, documents needed for just initial review.
Oh yeah, the new one, right? Yeah.
Documents, and then also documents that are requested after the client's approved. Like, what else do we need, right? Everything from a fee agreement, if it pertains to, let's say, a premium pricing program, EIN letter, articles, etc. Because just like Daryl said, it's a little tricky of a situation, but as long as the client can verify or get as close to the correct number, then we are able to just move forward with a verbal. Yeah. Right. Majority of the time, some of the programs, even on the premium pricing side, is just a matter of verifying credit. Right, which is just filling out the first page or filling out that quick intake, which is client's first name, last name, home address, do they have revenue, what type of business do they own, how long have they been in business for, right? Then we pull credit, we do a soft credit pull in-house, it's an Experian credit pull, and we are then able to go ahead and let the client know, hey, yes, you've passed credit. Now you have to pass, if you're going for stated, there's nothing else needed. If you're going for a credit card, there's nothing else needed. If you're going for a full doc file, now I need additional documentation. So it just depends on the program. But yes, I can email it to you. It was actually sent over today from our marketing department. Yeah. They just had to make it look pretty, which I think they did an amazing job. But you'll have it over. You can have it over tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning you have it over, and it's also going to be in the Mighty app, as Daryl was mentioning as well.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, Dennis, and thanks for joining up, and thanks for joining the force. We appreciate it. Jose.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. Jose, you know what I wanted to ask you?
What's that?
As far as your experience in multiple industries, right? Let's talk about the danger of like ballparking numbers or over-promising and under-delivering. What, because that's a big phrase that we say a lot in our industry. We don't want to over-promise or under-deliver. That's something that we really, really, really believe in, because, I mean, you can just blurt something really idiotic out, and then that client is going to hold you to that. And if you don't perform, if you don't end up, oh, here you go, right, I put yourself up. If you don't hit those numbers, they're going to hold you to the cent. So can you just tell me, and hopefully we could go down the road, please tell me one example in which you did that in the past as a rookie sales guy, not like last week or anything. A rookie sales guy in which you lost a deal or lost a relationship or lost a contact because you overpromised and underdelivered.
Wow. Well, I guess I have to go back to when I first got into.
Oh, please, bro! Like,
that's crazy, bro. No, but this was a lesson learned. where I actually was, and I'm talking about back before, about 2008, I think it was when I was actually new. I was part timing at a restaurant, so I was going, still learning the mortgage space, but then I was bartending at a restaurant. Then the client, my manager said, "Hey, listen, Jose, you know what? I'm looking to buy a house." I said, "Oh, sweat. Look, you know what? I do mortgages part time. This, that, and the third, etc." Mind you, I didn't know anything, but everything she asked me, I said yes, yes, yes. What's the rate? Oh, it's gonna be a great rate. Trust me, but I don't need to show this documentation. No, 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 you don't. I can get approved with this. Yes, yes, yes. And that was the biggest mistake because I didn't know what I was doing. Right? I didn't take the time at that time. I didn't take the time to learn all the guidelines, but I just wanted to not lose this deal. Right, because it was the first deal I got, so I was excited about it. I did not want to lose a deal, so I just yesed her to death. Whatever she said, I could do. Right, which now I look at it and I'm like, wow, why did I do that?
Yes.
But it's the same kind of mistakes that you do.
Hell
because,
yeah.
Because when you first start off, you're excited. It's my first deal. Wow, yes. She's employed. And at that time, you were able to get a mortgage. Anyone that had a pulse. But there was a little other stuff. There was more stuff you had to get. Had to qualify for, or they had to qualify. But no, that actually killed the relationship because now it's like, wait, hold on. I put up this money. I did this and this. And I think I ended up getting fired from the restaurant because
Lesson learned, huh?
I wasn't able to
From the
deliver
restaurant?
from the restaurant. Yeah,
Restaurants are so hard to get a breast fired from. They take
Listen, I was
anybody.
fired. You know what? She was upset at me at that point. I couldn't do anything. So I think that was my biggest mistake, and that was one where I definitely learned from because it put me in a position that I made me understand is like sometimes you can say no because of the guidelines, but understand what the guidelines are. Understand how to take a quick intake form. I didn't take an intake form. I just said, hey, get me these docs. And then I said, okay, I can do it now. And I went away and did it, but there was still a lot of stuff that she couldn't I don't know what it was, but she wasn't able to qualify because of certain things that she didn't have. So that's my story.
Yeah, I'll share a story. This one didn't happen to me so long ago. This happened like 2023. And I was funding a Canadian merchant $300,000. He really only needed 200. I got him 300. He was like, great, $24,000 a week, no problem. I'm like, shit, okay. And already I start counting my chickens, before they hatch because that 30,000, that 300,000 is gonna pay 10 points. It was a referral too. One of my boys sent it to me from Canada. He's like, hey, my boss needs a loan. I'm like, fucking, I'll try it out. So you got to figure 300,000, 10 points at 30K in commission. I get half of that shit because it's my referral. So I'm at $15,000 for like 2 hours worth of work. And everything was all teed up. I'm ready to go. He signs contracts. He sends in tax returns, everything like that. I mean, everything looked good. He's like, Dad, listen, I got to place like a bulk order of materials right now. I'm going to do it. But are you sure this is good? He's like, is this guaranteed? I'm like, dude, everything's in. Everything looks good. It looks like it's guaranteed. What? 2 hours later, I get an email. The deal's dead. This guy owed the Canadian government $750,000 in back taxes.
Yeah.
Now, everything was in, and it was in final underwriting. And at the very end, they caught that. Now, he didn't really care about it because he said, Daryl, I pay my taxes quarterly. So it was not at that point where he needed to pay yet, so that shit was kind of high. And they were like, we don't care. Our policy is if there's anything over $500,000 in judgments or liens, we have to automatically kill the deal. Wow. So, and as you guys know, in the business funding industry, not many lenders are going to fund Canadian clients. So, luckily the guy didn't make too much of a big stink about it because, at the end of the day, he does owe $750,000 to the Canadian government. And the reason why nobody would want to put $300,000 into his account is because, why? What if we put that money into your account and then the Canadian government just takes the whole thing? Because you owe them money. So, it's a huge risk. The guy understood, but I thought I was gonna get 15 grand for two hours worth of work, and I definitely if he was just a client that go off the street, it definitely would have been much worse off. He probably would have complained or even wrote a letter to who knows who. But yeah, that's my story. You got one, right, guy? Thanks. Thanks, sound guy.
Ryan?
If anyone's involved in the commercial real estate business, I wasted 3 years of my life on one deal in Los Alamos, New Mexico. It was a 4-phase construction deal, 38 million total cost, and I saw the numbers. This is when I was pretty fresh out of college. Got way too excited, and it turns out, long story short, because it's a very long story, the guy fell out of contract with the PSA, the purchase sale agreement.
Wow.
Okay? And so I didn't keep requesting. I didn't want to bother him piggybacking off before with the documents. Yeah. I should have kept following up saying, can I see the current executed purchase sale agreement? He just told me, oh, yeah, I had the original one, fell out of contract, great relationship with the seller, blah, blah, blah. So I just trusted the guy. Kept trying to go on the deal, and I thought it was very cool because it's exactly where they tested the nuclear bombs in World War II. So I had a lot of history, a lot going for it. Was building office on it, along with multifamily properties and industrial warehouse and data centers. So kept going back and forth, doing the stabilize as is underwriting. And if I just said, I can't keep going on this deal unless you give me the executed PSA to date, signed. I just trusted the guy, took his word for it. And years going back and forth, just assuming it's still under contract. And then what do we find out? Eventually the seller calls and lets us know that these guys are unfortunately lying. They don't have a contract. It fell out years ago, and he never wants to deal with these guys again.
Wow.
And if I just asked the right questions and just said I need a copy of the signed PSA, I could have saved myself
some years.
Weeks and years
Yeah.
of just going back and forth on this deal. Ugh.
That sounds like that one still hurts.
Yeah.
That sounds like you had like a bad breakup, bro. You're like, get it over, huh?
Oh, it's worse than any breakup I've ever dealt with. I just saw the commission check, and just, when you see these big deals, you got to remember how feasible, like how likely are they actually going to happen?
Yeah.
And if you don't ask the right questions, and if you do ask the right questions right off the bat, you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know within minutes.
Now we have a question here from Boss Money. Boss Money's question.
What's going on, boss? You sounded like a real New Yorker. Say it again.
What?
Boss. Say it again.
Like
Boss.
like
Boss
that?
Money.
Like
Okay.
that? How can I start my startup after going identity theft and my credit was ruined? I really want to start my own car wash. Can you guide me through it? Daryl, any ideas?
So what is your? You say your credit was ruined. What's your current credit score now? Well, if you want to unmute your mic, boss, and just chat, or if you want to type it out, whatever you want to do, it's going to be really, 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 really credit driven right now. However, if you start probably 500, okay, well, listen, if you have an LLC, or if you have a corp that's already started for at least 2 weeks, that's one of the only programs that we can actually use is a co-signer for is our 0% interest business credit cards. And what you can end up doing is if you have somebody that's reliable, family, friend, lover, somebody that you trust, business partner.
Why are you taking my lines?
What do you mean? I taught you that, bro. Please. Anyway, yeah, if you have a lover, anybody like that, if you have your corporate LLC open for at least 2 weeks, that's the only program that you can use a co-signer for. Other than that, I mean, if you don't really currently own a business, we can't use your property with that kind of credit score to kind of really do anything. So, for us, I mean, Jose, I don't know if there's anything other programs on the real estate side if he owns real estate, but I know on the business lending side, the only thing we could probably do is business credit cards if you open up your corporate LLC for at least 2 weeks.
And the thing that Daryl forgot to mention is that through business credit cards, you're looking at close to anywhere up to $150,000. So, it's good if you have a cosigner. If you can get a cosigner, that would be great. 680 plus credit score, because you can qualify for up to $150,000. If you own real estate with a 500 credit score, you could do a 50% LTV. So as long as you have equity in the property and take 50% of whatever the value is subtracted by your balance, the difference will allow you is what you would possibly net, right? Minus fees, etc., so on and so forth. But that would be the best option, the best advice I can give you as far as starting off a car wash. I'm not sure how much is a car wash. because maybe you can buy it with, if you get a cosigner, if you get up to 150. Car washes, I don't know. I think last person I spoke to was like $55,000, $60,000. I don't think it was over 100,000. I may be wrong, but I don't know if they, what type of car wash, right? Because car wash can also be different. It could be a car wash where it could be just be automatic, right? Where you put in a quarter and you do it yourself, or it can actually be a car wash where people are there washing cars, drying it, etc. So it just depends on how much money it's going to cost you. But those would be the two options that we have in house for you.
Hopefully, we answered your question, boss. Scroll down, see if he said anything.
Let's see.
I
Boss
see,
Money
boss.
did not say anything.
Boss, okay, probably 500. All right, cool.
So-
All right, yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead,
Jose.
Daryl.
No, you know,
you
you
go
go,
first.
bro. You seem
Please,
very
you go.
eager beaver to
All right,
speak.
since you go ahead.
All right, no. So I just want to move to, another segment. Obviously we're really passionate on this topic because I mean, once you switch over to management or once you switch over to running your own company and you have to deal with newbies, all these things are all things that we try to tell our new staff or even you guys that are new to the industry. We kind of just want to give you guys like usually we give you guys the do's. Tonight's all about the don'ts, stuff that you shouldn't do. We want to tell you some of our stories as to how we got screwed over, how we lost money and stuff like that, just by not asking the right questions. And honestly, that's why we always tell you guys the main important question is on the business lending side, asking why they need the money, how soon they need the money. You know what I mean? Because based on that, that'll let us know right then and there, other than their credit score, let us know what program that we need to get these guys into. So we request the right documents only one time. I mean, listen, the program we have that takes the most amount of documents is the SBA. Anything with the government is just lots of paperwork, long time, tough to get approved. All those are synonymous, okay? But yeah, we're talking like 3 years personal, 3 years business. They want your firstborn's blood type, like everything is so crazy for like what they want. But you're gonna get the longer term, right? You're gonna get a business loan for 10 years. So there's pluses and minuses to everything. But yeah, you can't be afraid to ask the tough questions, and more so, ask for documents. Ask for the proper documents for the proper deal. Don't ask for more than you need to though, because trust me, these guys will get very pissed at you if you make them give you a whole lot of docs, and then all of a sudden at the end of the day, you're just like, yeah, can't do anything for you, and you give them an MCA because that they're gonna feel like they were bait and switch, and they didn't really go through an underwriting process.
Now, Daryl? So now let's say you got the documents from the client.
Yeah.
How about or you sent the email? Client says yeah, sent it. Now you got to follow up on documents. How do you follow up on docs? And what do you think is how many touches should a lead get?
Okay. All right. So here's what we teach, and it's 3 times a day: morning, afternoon, evening. One of the things that we preach, and Jose's big into this, is if you can't get somebody on the phone for like 3 days, you're calling them at the wrong times a day. Ryan and Sarah are our two real estate / mortgage reps that 100% stay late 4 days a week. They're here almost till 8 o'clock 4 days a week, and they get the most amount of deals in because people that are in real estate and stuff like that, they're really more receptive later in the day. I don't know why, but that's just it. We have
They have their day jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta call them at night.
And we do have some people have family obligations. We understand that, but then our guys that are really hungry on the business lending side, that they're like in their early 20s or whatnot, not much responsibilities. Those guys tend to stay a little later too, and they call our California base or our Hawaii that's 5 hours behind. You know what I mean? Like those guys stay late a couple days a week just to make sure that they service those clients. But yeah, as far as following up, morning, soon as you get in, boom, 9 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock, whatever their time is. Then boom again right after lunch, like 2 or 3 o'clock their time. And then right before you leave, like 6, 7 o'clock, we like to try to do that with leads. You follow up 3 times a day for 3 days in a row. After that point, that person's probably not interested. And I usually just shoot them out a quick email, a quick text, say, hey, listen, I don't want to bother you like I'm your crazy ex-girlfriend. That's a famous line that I like to use because I just don't want to be that person or crazy ex-boyfriend. Whatever you prefer. They're crazy though, whoever your ex is. That's what we don't want to be like. So I just say that as like a little playful message, like, hey, listen, I called you 9 times, all times of the day. You're not answering. If this is not something that you want to do, no problem. You just part ways as friends. But that's how aggressively I really reach out like the first couple of days. What
And
do you think?
you're also big on, like, you taught me about
I'm what?
Spotlight. You taught me about Spotlight
Okay.
on what is it, on the iPhone, which is it was
Oh,
great. Remember
text
Spotlight?
text effects.
Text
The
effects.
text effects. Yeah.
Now I know you were trying something new, which was the oops, I sent you an eggplant emoji. How does that work out?
Well, that was to one client, and I was trying to send a smiley face and ended up sending the eggplant emoji. It was very embarrassing, and this was one of those clients, I guess, that didn't update their cell phone, so I couldn't just like delete it. Like I couldn't edit and like delete the message to them, so I just had to let it fly, and then I just put like a little asterisk and put a smiley face.
But did he reply back?
He just put a smiley face back. He never talked to me again. So I think he probably thought shit was like a little weird. But I mean, it happens. You know, I'm funny via text. I like this, like if it's iPhone to iPhone, I like to say like little text effects just to stand out. Right? Like I'll say congratulations, you've been approved, and send a firework emoji. Well, not a firework emoji, a firework effect that'll take up your whole screen, and it'll be like fireworks and stuff like that, just to try to stand out. Now, hold on. Now, because Lucas is just silent over here. And I know that he's just smiling.
Because of tech.
You know, listen, you know this? He's doing one of those things that he smiles and looks at the teacher so that they don't call on him. But I'm going to call on you, bro, because it sounds like you want to talk about something. So, Lucas, why don't you, is there like certain verbiage that you use when you're setting up our systems to go ahead and follow up automatically to go ahead and collect docs? Is there certain keywords or certain things, certain like keywords that you use to go ahead and I guess kind of make the people feel like time's of the essence, like they need to get their documents in ASAP?
That is a must. Yes, always. You always gotta create. You always gotta create urgency. My underwriter is here today. If I get you, I can get your file on in front of my underwriter today. I have someone that specializes on this industry. Like you gotta create urgency always.
I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. We have an underwriter for your industry here today.
Yeah, he's coming in tomorrow. If I can get the documents up tonight, I can get in front of him tomorrow. Get an approval for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like you gotta create some type of urgency and create like the priority for the person. You gotta always make sure that you finish every sentence with a question, so you keep them engaged.
Yeah.
Replying back, and the very first thing you gotta do is make sure that any sequence, anything that you do, has at least 5 touches, at least. Without them replying once to you, you gotta be at least five touches deep. So you gotta touch them 5 times appropriately, and then you do the ex-girlfriend type of situation as the last one.
Now what like,
Yeah, you go crazy on the last one because you lost it. You go crazy.
burn the boat. Just burn the
Burn the
boat.
boat.
Burn the boat. No, but so it goes in the 5 touches. Or do you mean phone calls, emails, text messages? What does that mean? Was it all?
It could be all. Ideally, you're going to be calling and also have the automation from the CRM, which is email and text message. So anything you create at least for a whole week. And then on the Monday, I usually check in with them. Like, hey, I hope you have a great weekend. Do you have any questions for me on a Monday, very early in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning? So they wake up to that one because Monday is a motivational day for most of the people because everybody saves everything for Monday.
Yeah.
Everything happens on Monday. So usually they want to get stuff done. And if that was something that was in their mind, on Monday, usually they want to be like, oh, yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm going to take care of you. And then they reply back to that one message on Monday.
Lucas.
So that Monday message is usually really good too.
Lucas, historically, because I know that you've been marketing right now for probably like 8 years, like full time. Do people really, like with your campaigns that you send out, do people really tend to send docs a lot on the weekends, like automated messages, or do they usually come in like Monday morning? Like when you run a weekend campaign, are people receptive and do people send stuff in, or do people most likely respond but send in Mondays? Like, how does that work?
Usually the most successful days are Saturday and Sunday. Monday, you get some traction. Wednesday, I don't know why, but it's usually a bit slow. But yeah, usually on the weekends, it's a bit busier. And Monday, you have more reply rates. Like people are like, oh, I didn't forget about you. I'm going to get it done or whatever it is. Because they're trying to plan their week. But usually the documents, Saturday and Sunday is usually when you get them. So don't don't exclude the message from Saturday and Sunday, because usually they're home and they have some time and they're gonna package it up and send it to you.
When we were doing ad campaigns, I think that Sunday was a day that we were getting a lot of submissions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why.
We used to come in on Mondays like with the
Yeah.
the full emails. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, hold on, just one more question there's one more question I wanted to ask you, Lucas, and it was definitely going to be, okay. When you are marketing on the weekend, right? Or do you get your kid, like, do you feel like people are more receptive, or do you feel like some of them just like, hey, listen, I only want to talk Monday through Friday, like do you get more people cursing you out on the weekends because it's an inappropriate time to reach out to them, or do you mostly get that during the week? Like,
Surprisingly, no. Surprisingly, people don't usually curse you out. They don't say anything bad to you throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
I guess they're in different mood.
Yeah.
During the week,
They're drinking
they
and stuff.
They usually curse you out and do stuff.
Yeah.
But on the weekends, no, not usually. If they don't not interested, they just don't reply.
Gotcha.
Just don't mind on the weekends. The weekdays you usually get those nasty texts, dick pics, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
You should be reaching out on the weekend. Anyone who's hungry is always going to be more than happy to respond on the weekend and going to really
We
appreciate
interrupt
the
this
fact that you
program to
followed
bring
up.
you an important announcement.
Yeah. Whatever the hell Lucas just said, it's definitely going to get us canceled in some capacity. I already know. Go ahead, Ryan. What were you saying?
I was just saying, it's important to follow up on the weekends as well. Anyone who's hungry and serious, especially when it's like a real estate business and it's their property, they're going to appreciate that you're reaching out on a Saturday, Sunday. Maybe not so much Sunday, but definitely Saturday.
Definitely Saturday.
Yeah, and very important too is that when they submit all the documents, you keep daily check-ins with them. Like, hey, I haven't heard back yet, but it's on top of my inbox. I'm gonna get back to you as soon as I get an answer. Oh, today I haven't had a reply yet. I'm still waiting on the banker, or whatever the case may be. Just keep in touch. So because people are gonna be like, oh, he forgot about me, and then because once this industry is so saturated that everybody's gonna be reaching out to them. As you guys also get the intent leads, so those leads, like if they click on your ad, most likely they're gonna receive ads from other people. So they're gonna be in touch with other people, and then if you forgot to check in, he already also have all the docs. He already have the application. He already have everything. And then a smart guy is gonna come in like, hey, oh, you working with this guy? You already have all the documents? Did he give you an approval? No. Okay, just send me the documents that you sent to him. I'll get you an approval right now.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna see your client. So make sure that you do daily check-ins.
And that's true, because sometimes deals deals don't die because of bad news. They're just killed because of no news, right? Meaning that the client, if you don't reach out to the client, some of these clients are just going to be upset and won't do business with you if you don't reach out to them, right? Hey, I got the documents in. Perfect, great. They like to get statuses. Hey, listen, my underwriter's still working on the file. But if you just go radio silent, then the client may not appreciate that, and will not appreciate that, because like, wait, hold on, he's probably not working on my file, pays no attention to me. I'm very needy, so I need an update all the time. Just communicate, even if it's, hey, listen, I don't have an update yet, but I wanted to still just give you a call, let you know that I'm still working on the file. I didn't forget about you, but I'm still working on the file, right? Because you don't want the client to go ahead and just not move forward because you have not given them any news.
Yeah, I definitely fall victim to that still, even right now. And it's not like intentional, but like, let's just say Peter, I'm gonna read your comment in a second. Thank you so much for chiming in. But no, man, listen, sometimes, Jose, like with these fucking problematic ass deals, and it's like you're not really for me, right? But you just want to sell a deal for a guy that we have on the floor.
Correct.
Because we know that guy's not getting a salary, he's depending on us for his paycheck, right? So sometimes you'll want to try to take a deal to like fucking Davy Jones's locker, to like the depths of the ocean, just to try. You like that reference, right? I know you do, my fellow nerd.
Davy Jones locker.
You want to try to get the deal done at all costs, just so that this guy can feed his family. Meanwhile, if there's a deal for yourself, you tell the merchant, listen, go take a hike, you don't qualify. But then you try so hard. So sometimes I feel like what one of Santiago's did with default, trying to figure out like a default lender. So we just told him that the first deal died, and I did not say anything to him back. I was like, next time I talk to the guy, I want to go ahead and have an answer for him. And then he ended up taking the deal from somebody else. I didn't get the approval, so I didn't really care so much. But He was like, yeah, like, I never heard back from you guys. I love that you guys forgot about me. You know what I'm saying? This just happened the other day. So
Wow.
it does still, why you saying wow like that, bro? Like, you're goddamn
I can't
principal.
believe that. I can't
Wow.
believe that.
No, so listen.
Light on you and you drop the ball.
It does happen still today. Jose's not going to say that he doesn't, but I know for certain that he doesn't. My client's still waiting for Jose to give him a call back right now. I know his name's Mr. McKenzie. No, but it does happen, and it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift because that means we have a lot of fucking deals and we can be very selective, right? That helps us because we just have a lot of deals, we have a lot of fields. You guys send me these deals. There's deals everywhere. So if it's a problematic deal, you just let it go. But sometimes you still want to work the deal to like the bare bones. Just to try to help a guy get a paycheck, and it just doesn't work out. So I just want to I'd be very transparent to let you guys know that shit does still happen to even with seasoned brokers like myself.
Now, I guess Ryan, just to move on to the next topic, what do you do as far as just what type of stuff do you put in, or tools do you implement, or practices do you follow in order for you to not forget about a deal? Because I know you get a lot. We checked the pipeline last time. It was like 40 deals under your name of just approvals, and you're working every single one of them. But just to give people advice out there, how do you manage that? How do you manage being able to still speak to the client and update the client as well and provide great service?
Of course. So you got to make sure you're using technology. It's essential. You can't remember where you left off with every single client, especially when you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of people all the time and people are always calling you, texting, etc., etc. So make sure you use technology.
Look into that camera. Let them see your eyes, right, guy? Look into that one right there. That's
the calendar.
One. That's the one right there, the camera.
So make sure you got Gmail, make sure you use the snooze function. All right? Snooze it for a time. All right, guy says he follow up 2 days. All right, ask him when's the best time to call him. Sets the snooze function, 6 p.m. if that's the time to call him, whatever it might be, and then it'll just pop up. You don't even have to remember off the top of your head.
What are you talking about? That's an option?
Of course. And then also add a task. Make sure
Snooze?
Gmail. Yeah, the snooze function on Gmail. If you have
I never
Gmail,
knew that.
it's essential.
Wow.
It's essential.
I know about airplane mode on my phone.
I'm talking about
You don't want to do airplane mode. No airplane mode. That's the ignore function. So snooze on Gmail. Add a task on Gmail too. So then when you're combing through your emails, it'll be on the taskbar on the side, right in front of you, all the time. And then also, you have an iPhone. Make sure you set a reminder in your calendar. So you have 3 things right there, and make sure you do that for every client. If you're
And
not
make
doing
sure you
that,
don't ignore the task.
Ryan is about to. Ryan, you're about to give a training on how to go ahead and do that. I had no idea.
I had no idea.
I
I'm
literally
gonna
had no
snooze
idea
the
what-
hell
yeah,
out of my
I really
Gmail,
do.
bro.
You should be. Like, CRM's a great tool and all, but at the end of the day, your email and your calendar on your phone, you should always have automatic reminders set. As soon as the guy's on the phone with you
Yeah.
saying, hey, call in 2 days, 8 p.m., whatever it might be, you set that reminder on your email, on your computer, and on your phone. Make sure you don't even need to remember. You just set the reminders.
Right,
It's
right.
essential.
Ryan, you're 100% right and correct on that, because I mean, just on Gmail, I don't know. A lot of people use Hotmail. A lot of people use other email sources. Probably some of you guys probably still use AOL.
Yeah.
Outlook has it too.
Yahoo. But with Gmail, we use Gmail Enterprise, right, for the company. But even Gmail now summarizes the email for you
At the top.
at the top.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You don't even need to
Also-
read the whole thing.
It's crazy.
Also, too, after there was a podcast we had with Lucas, and Lucas mentioned ChatGPT. Now, there's a button. It's called Gemini, right? I think it's Gemini Assist, or it has a little pencil with a little star next to it at the bottom. Now, I write an email, and then I go click on it, and then just to make it more, I put down, make it professional. Because I just put everything I have to put down. Okay, please formalize it, or make it more formal, and it'll rewrite it for you. Rewrites it for you. It's amazing. Using the tools that you have to make you great, but also to take you to the next level. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Most people may think that, I have to buy a membership, do this and this. A lot of these tools are free. Just use. You need to know how to use them in a lot of the cases. Now, Darry, you want to read Peter? Peter's
Yeah, Pete. Thanks for tuning in. Radical, clap it up for Mr. Malazzo right here. What's up, Pete? All right, Peter says, when you are working a real estate loan, do you try to connect them to local realtors right away to help them find them properly? hopefully to solidify. And also a two-part question: do the realtors try to steal the deal and get them alternative financing?
Well, you
Lucas
do-
laughed, so hopefully Lucas had
Good
something.
question. Depends on the realtor.
I've seen everything in the industry, but we do nationwide, so it's very hard for us to keep track of realtors all over. We have a real good realtor team that we usually recommend for New York because it's right around here, and my wife is one of the team members. But not nationwide. Just to answer Peter, so I don't focus on the on getting them connected with the realtor.
Right. But yeah, if we were able to and just throw a bone to someone to be able to help it out, of course, it's for the benefit of the client at the end of the day. Now, if we're able to go ahead and help the client out, of course, why not? It builds a great relationship. It also solidifies our relationship as well with the client by doing the right thing by the client. But
But it is a
don't-
great networking piece,
yeah.
Peter, by the way, because if you're willing to actually do that, you have a client in Minnesota, whatever the case may be, whatever city it is, you could contact like 10, 15 people like, hey, I have a client. Do you do this area? So at least you're networking with these people, and these people can send you business back and forth. So it's a great networking.
What Peter, what he meant to say was that if you are networking and you have people in Minnesota, you want to send them to Brokers Connection so we can go ahead and get it done.
No, the realtor, I'm saying.
Oh, realtors.
Yeah, so you introduce that person to the realtor.
Oh,
At
I
least
thought
you
he
have
was the
you have
realtor.
no you
Okay.
have like you have a
Right. He's right. So yeah, you build your own book, right?
relationship,
If you're if that's your niche, or is that is where you actually focus or get a lot of business from, of course you want to build that type of relationship, and obviously that's a great networking. Even if there's no compensation, still at the end of the day, it's not always about compensation, monetary value. It's about, hey, listen, let's do right by the client. The client's going to refer you more business, but also too, now that person that you gave business to, some way, somehow feels a little indebted to you, where they're going to think about you whenever they come across a client that may need any type of financing, if that's what you offer, right?
I mean, I could have said that better myself. Whatever the hell Lucas said was like a little crazy. That you like translated that for him.
thank you for translating.
Jose GPT.
Peter says thanks. Yeah, Pete. Hopefully we answered your question eloquently enough that you can actually go ahead and apply that to your day to day. I mean, Pete, what do you have people trying to like steal your deals? Like, are you like a little apprehensive about where you place them? Because I mean, that if that's the case, that's a legit concern, and I'm sure other people that's in the chat probably feels like the same way. I mean, right, guy, you're experiencing this field. I mean, does that happen often, or has that happened since you've been doing this?
Unfortunately, it is something that definitely happens in the
It's
industry.
very common now.
And Peter, if you're a broker, you could always represent the client and not disclose the client's name, things of that nature, and just make sure you're working the deal. And I'm just trying to see if you're gonna keep commenting, because I'm just trying to see your role in this deal here.
No, he's a broker, I think, and he's working with the client. The client's working with the realtor, and the realtor is introducing somebody else to do the financing because he's a friend or whatever the case may be.
You could
I
always
think
have
that's
sign
what
an
it is.
agreement.
Got it.
Can we sign it? No.
Just stick to
Exclusivity?
business lending.
That's pretty tough.
Stick to business lending.
The business lending
That's
happens
it.
all the time
That's
as well.
it.
Yeah, Pete said got it. All right. So listen, we're gonna do one final thing. Well, you know what? Not one final thing. I want to actually go on like a little bit of like a rant for just like things that are going on right now in our industry. So right now, because we are at the end of the third quarter, new programs always popping up. Rates are like a little bit lower. At least like in the unsecured space around the end of the month because the end of the quarter because underwriters, lenders, everyone's trying to get deals out. Everyone's trying to get money onto the streets. In case you guys didn't know, some of these lenders, for every dollar that they don't put out, they end up paying something like a wild vig on top, like $1,000 to like $5,000 for every $1 that they don't put out. Some lenders, I'm not saying all. Some people probably have great lines at the bank, but that these banks want these lenders to put money on the street. So towards the end of the month, the underwriters are like a little crazy. Towards the end of the quarter, they're even crazier. I think that realistically, that's why I got that $230,000 approval today, and everybody else giving me $60,000 because one of these guys is saying we need to get money out on the street. So right now is the time that people need to go ahead and buy. in most industries right now, in business funding, the holidays are coming up. Who does not need money? I'll say it again. The holidays are coming up. Who doesn't need money? It's back to school, retail. Kids are going back to school. Kids are buying up supplies. People are buying, like I said, kids are going back to school. People are buying, clothing for the kids. Sports teams are starting up again. You know what I mean? Like there's just so the market is wide open right now. You have people that just relocated to different states to go ahead and move for the kids to go to a better school or something like that. Now their house is up for sale in other states. Like everybody's buying right now. So if someone says right now that this is not the right time, they're absolutely full of shit, and you have to diagnose it and just figure out what the real problem is. Maybe they haven't been introduced to a program that's good for them yet. You know what I'm saying? But we have over 15 different programs here. So just ask the right questions because everybody right now needs money. And don't let them tell you no.
Daryl, you're right. Just to add on what you said is that we're coming towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right? It's it's September.
Christmas is coming.
We're in September.
Christmas
People
is
are thinking
coming.
about Christmas.
Yeah.
Forget about Halloween. Forget about
Thanksgiving.
Christmas is around the corner. But he's right. The banks have money to put out. They're coming out with creative programs. A lot of these programs, I spoke to a banker today where one of the biggest banks, they tightened up their programs by putting everything instead of national, being able to just do it in footprint, right? As far as when they obtained, it was easy for us to get a client in California, some type of funding, and it didn't matter what state they were in. We were still able to do it. This bank closed it down and did something called just in footprint. They only wanted the client to deal with bankers that were in their footprint. Now, there's a lot of money that they haven't put out. So we're already looking at it and predicting that that's going to be lifted because these banks, like he said, have money that they have to put out. They get it from, they get it from the Federal Reserve, I believe, right? That's where they get the money from.
Yeah.
So they have to put it out. There's a reason why they get access to money to put it out so that they also get charged.
Yeah.
Right. So that along with now even there's a new program that we are waiting on to get final approval on. Where it's a hybrid between an actual business.
Are you going to tell?
Well, I'm just going to give a little teaser.
Yeah, just give
Yeah,
that.
go ahead, man. It hasn't even approved yet. They're going to start taking submissions.
It's coming out with the deck. So
It's coming out. It's coming out. I would say by Monday we should have the green light. They told me the process was 2 days. We went through all the interviews, etc. But it's literally a hybrid. We've been saying it all the time. It's a hybrid between a business line of credit and a merchant cash advance.
Oh, that one.
So this one now, the credit score goes as low as a 400, but business bank statements have to carry a certain dollar average daily balances, $1,000 average daily balances.
I thought you said it was more.
No. They have a different program. That's the low program. They'll give it up to 5 months.
Oh, hold on. We got tiers?
Yeah, that's here.
We got tiers.
Now,
Okay.
if they pull the average daily balance of 5,000, they can do all the way up to 12 months, right? A revolving line of credit. The months are more just for payment, right? It's to figure out what the payment's going to look like. But if they pay,
Real quick. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, what revolving means, you guys probably know this, but if you don't know, revolving means that with the payments, some goes to principal, some goes to interest. Partial goes to interest, partial goes to principal. So with the principal that they pay, it goes back into the line as available funds for you to repull from.
correct. So now the benefit of that is that if you pay it off early, this is insane. They said that they're willing to give a 1.01 factor. That's basically 1% a month of whatever.
One penny
right?
on
Yeah.
every dollar.
So for every dollar they give you, you're paying $1.01.
That's crazy.
It's insane. It's unheard of, right? But they're getting creative because there's a lot of money out there. They need to put out the money. They bet on the fact that they hope the client doesn't pay it off early. Right, so there's a lot of new programs coming out towards the end of this year.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Understand what those programs are. We're going to continue the training. Please follow the training on a day-to-day with us. Ensure that you understand the programs. Follow the deck and join us as well every other Tuesday for product knowledge. Right, and I think we're finishing up the classes as well so that you can go into the CRM and see the different classes for different programs.
All right, I think that kind of wraps us up for this evening. But let's do final thoughts. Lucas, you never want to go first, but you want to take a shot at it right now? Final thought, Lucas?
No, I would like to go second.
Okay, like I swear to God, if I say go right, this guy's gonna go left. If I say up, he's definitely gonna go down. That's some skill. All right, let's go, right guy. Tell us about this. Give us your final thought.
Final thoughts, make sure you always request the docs up front. It's better to just ask up front instead of wasting your time along with your client's time. All our time is precious, as we know. And on top of that, remember, the banks and all the funds of capital have too much money and there's not enough deals. That's why they're getting creative. So make sure you utilize it. This is the time. It's Q4, start of September. This is the time to make money. This is the time to do business.
Yeah. Clap it up.
I think I'm gonna steal some of that. That was kind of good. I'm gonna steal that. Too much money and not enough deals is a fire ass line. Go ahead, Lucas. Let's go, Lucas.
Oh my gosh.
It's never fluid, man. It's always some kind of like hiccup or like bumping the road. This guy. Yeah, Lucas.
It's the language barrier. I would like to say that every time you win your intake form, you're gonna win your paycheck, right? And the follow up, you're not bothering people. If you don't get 5 F-offs by noon, you're not doing enough with your pipeline. So you gotta keep following up. Stay on top of it. That's how you're gonna close deals. So be strong in your follow-up game. Don't give up on leads. Like really make sure that you're touching at least 5 to 7 times the lead before you give up on them. Keep following up. It's not pestering them. That's how you close deals.
Nice. All right, Jose. Let's go. Take us home.
All right. So just, I love this quote by Jimmy Johnson. Right. It's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Right. It's that extra. Right. What that means is it's the same word, but you're adding that extra to it, which means that you have to.
It's a little bit extra.
Put in that little bit extra in order for you to become extraordinary. What does that mean? Go the extra mile. Ask that extra question. Study the intake form for an extra couple of minutes. Go ahead and make sure that you understand the products, right? Ask the extra question because that's going to set you apart from everyone else that's calling this client, everyone else that's offering this client, funding, that's offering them, a mortgage. So learn how to become extraordinary compared to everyone else that is just ordinary. Okay, those are my couple of words. Daryl?
I don't know, but all I know is that Radical definitely has to go through and just clip up that little snippet of Lucas and I holding this right next to you when you say just that little bit extra. We need that. There was a quote that I read one time. I don't really remember the gentleman that said it, but it's success usually comes. Success usually comes when to the people that are not really looking for it, the people that are not desperate, the people that are not just trying to do anything to sell a deal. It's when you have an abundance. Once you get to the point in sales, in any point where you have an abundance of anything, leads, guys, products, whatever the case is, if you ever get to the point in sales where you have an abundance of anything, then you're in the game. Then you're not really trying to hold on to the deals that you can't really get done. Oh, the guy that's really difficult and doesn't really want to take it up. Bye, dude. We have tons of other people that need money, tons of other people that want to refinance. There's tons of there's deals. Just like Rye Guy just said before, and that's such a fire ass line. I mean, at the end of the day, there's lots of money out there, not enough deals. We have the deals. You know what I mean? And we have the sources to connect these guys or these ladies and gentlemen with money. So you know what? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, just try to find your abundance with whatever you do. Try to find an abundance of realtors to deal with. If you're slinging houses, try to find an abundance of mortgage professionals. If you're showing open houses, try to have as many mortgage guys as you can. They're doing pre-approvals for you. Little snippet. If you're showing open houses and you're a mortgage professional and you do primaries, you should be at every open house on the weekends. You shouldn't be at home. You should be at open houses, pre-approving people to try to have them leave out of there knowing that they can get that goddamn house and they should go with you. You know what I mean? There's just try to be in abundance of whatever you can in this game. You know what I mean? Right now, Lucas and Albert and Jose And, you know, I had to say even Stanley, because Stanley's not really tech savvy, but even Stanley's getting up on it. And there's just a ton of Facebook leads that our mortgage guys are calling. Just try to be in abundance. Albert with, you know, leads to closing. There's just never, we're never at a drought with
Stanley's
leads.
mastering AI.
Yeah, I know. AI I don't even want to go into that. You know, and that's for another episode. But that's my little tidbit, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you know, your intake is always going to determine your income. I know Jose said that earlier, but that's, you know, right now we're in the process of training 10 new guys.
Yeah.
10 new let's say ladies and gentlemen. 10 new ladies and gentlemen that we're trying to train that's completely green to the industry. But so we're like heavily in the training mode. Not only training you guys and giving you guys snippets, but now we're doing it every day. And every morning we're doing morning powwows. You know, we're clapping it up, we're getting the energy flowing, we're getting the marbles out of everybody's mouths, we're pitching each other. We even have this game that we play in which we take a football and we tell the guys to pitch us. And then midway through the pitch, to make sure that everybody else in the sales floor is listening, we take the ball, we throw it to them so they can pick up the conversation where that last person left off. What does that do? It keeps everybody sharp. You're listening, you're paying attention to the deal, and you're fucking waking up. Because when you come in, sometimes people jump on the phone call without having a cup of coffee first. Yeah. To you single people out there that don't have kids, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're single, you don't have kids, you don't really wake up in the morning and talk to anybody. Sometimes the first time that you even say a word is to your coworkers at work. So we want to make sure that you don't get on the phones and you're sloppy. We want to make sure that you don't get on the phones and you're startled. Some people roll out of bed and come to work. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that you know what you're talking about and you're ready for that first call. Because that first call sometimes can determine what your whole day is like. You know what I mean? If you get right on the phone and get $100,000 deal, got wants $1 million, $1 million a month, your next phone call is going to be fantastic. Try to start your days off with momentum. Try to take more W's than L's. But every L that you take, try to turn that into a learning experience. And always make sure that even if you fall, that you're falling forward. That's still progress. All right? Damn, that was good.
Wow,
Clip that up. Clip that up. But ladies and gentlemen, listen, that's it. That's it for this evening. Episode 40 of Tequila Thursday. Radical, cue the music.
Thank you for joining us.
My name is Darren Mills, your host. It's Jose Martinez. I got Rye Guy, and I got my boy Lucas Mortar at the end. Stay tuned for next week's episode. We're actually coming up to our 1 year, our annual anniversary from when we started episode 1 last year.
Anniversary.
Yeah. Is that a double negative? Is that like a? That's why I don't know. I've been drinking. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a nice evening. And again, hopefully the Eagles beat the Cowboys tonight. NFL is back. Make sure you guys watch.